Good day, my dear students. Once again, we are here to discuss English language. Remember in one of our lessons, we discussed some of the requirements that are needed for essay writing. I hope you still recall that we did say that when the examiners are assessing candidate scripts, they are looking at about 5 aspects of the essay. And we did say that the first one is the length of the essay. The length of the essay should be about 450 words minimum. Minimum means the least we can write, which we discussed. We can write more than that, but the examiner is concerned with the 450, even though he will read the whole thing, whether we write 460, 470, 480, or 500 words. But don't keep on writing a long one. Make sure that you are writing sense and not nonsense. We did also discuss how we can calculate the number of words so that can satisfy examiners in that area of length of the essay. Another thing we discussed is the content. Don't forget that I told you that this series of lessons have been brought to you by University Press PLC, publishers of very many textbooks, including the one that you are familiar with, the popular one, the New Oxford Secondary English course for senior and junior secondary schools. Yes, we did say that content is the pillar of the essay. In other words, it is the one on which the whole essay rests. If anything is wrong with the content, then that is the end of the essay. And we did discuss the fact that content has to do with relevance. How relevant what you are writing is to what you have been asked to write on. We give an example of somebody, or in an exam where we are asked to write on their movement to a new environment. So, and somebody was writing on movement to a new building. Definitely that is not part of what he has been asked to write, and therefore he scores 0 in content. We also did discuss the fact that we have to cover all the aspects of the question. The question has more than one aspect. We have to cover all the aspects of the question. Maybe 3, maybe 2. But then we have to cover all the aspects. Apart from that, we did say that we must ensure that we read over our work so that there will be no errors that are therein. Apart from the content, we did also discuss something about the organization, which deals with planning. We need to plan our work, even our personal lives. So we did say that any human venture, any human endeavor needs planning. So also we have to plan our essay. And we did say that in terms of planning, once we choose our questions, we must write down the outlines. In other words, the ideas we want to use in the essay so that the essay can be sequential. We don't get to the end of the essay and then we remember one point we ought to have added at the beginning. It is important for us to ensure that we plan our work adequately and properly. Apart from that, too, we did say that organization has to do with paragraphing. Paragraphing, you know, I write our essays in paragraph. And we did say that each of the essays should have at least 5 paragraphs. Can be more than 5 paragraphs, but not less. We did say that the first paragraph will be devoted to introduction, and 3 or 4 other ones, or 5, will be the developmental paragraphs, and the last one will be the conclusion. We also mentioned the fact that in every paragraph there will be one idea. In addition, we discussed the fact that in every paragraph there will be at the very least 4 sentences, not 1 or 2, but 4. Can be more, can be 5, can be 6, but cannot be less than 4. And in addition to that, we mentioned the fact that when we are using the link words or connectives, the one that we used to use to link one paragraph and another, we have to use them appropriately, not just throw them in. Like furthermore, in addition, moreover, however. I mentioned the fact that one of the commonly misused one is the however. However means we are contrasting what we have said before, and therefore don't just use however as you like. Then we went on to the expression. Expression has to do with you're conveying the ideas to the examiner. Remember, I mentioned the fact that if you're going from one place to another, you go by bus. If the bus is faulty, you cannot succeed in getting to your destination. In the same way, the expression is a means of conveying your ideas to the examiner. Therefore, it can be clear, it can be straightforward, not the long, winding, muddled up, clumsy sentences. Short, simple, correct, straightforward sentences will actually convey your ideas to the examiner. And I did also warn you that you must not use any word whose usage or meaning you are not familiar with. Don't just want to impress the examiner by big words or vocabulary. Nobody will be impressed when actually you are not communicating well what you are putting across to the examiner. Then we discussed the mechanical accuracy. Remember, we said it also carries 10 marks, and that is very easy to lose all the marks under mechanical accuracy. In fact, over the years, then we discussed mechanical accuracy, which was the last one we discussed. And we did say that it is important to pay attention to this aspect, because over the years, very many students, candidates have lost all the marks under this mechanical accuracy, which actually carries 10 marks. We said that each error that is committed, that is made in terms of punctuation, in terms of spellings, in terms of tenses, in terms of grammar, in terms of some other miscellaneous ones, each of them is punishable with a ring. That ring is not one that makes candidates happy, unlike wedding rings, which will make people happy. It actually means that that ring is half a mark deducted from the mechanical accuracy marks. By the time you know it, all the marks under mechanical accuracy will have been lost, because once you have 20 rings, and all the errors have cancelled the marks under mechanical accuracy. That's why you have to make sure that you read over your work. I mentioned and emphasize the fact that reading over your work is very, very possible. It's very, very important, because nobody is infallible. Nobody is perfect. Even not only in English language, even in other subjects, you have to read over your work so that you can put right all those things that you have made the mistakes. So it is important. And I did say also that you have to write clearly, write boldly, so that the examiner can actually read what you have written. Improve your writing very well so that you can write well. And I also mentioned the fact that you must be very careful about choosing question number 5. That one asks you to tell a story, to read a story, narrate a story that illustrates a saying, like make hay while the sun shines, or a bird in the hand is what between the bush. If you are not quite familiar with this meaning of the saying, and you cannot write within 50 minutes a very appropriate story, don't go near question number 5, because over the years, I told you before, very many candidates have written stories that were exciting, interesting, captivating, fascinating, thrilling, but this story will not illustrate the same. Therefore, you score 0 in content, 0 in organization, which is important. Let us try and look at what we have discussed in terms of in practical terms. Look at this essay over here. We have the essay here. There have been many cases of road traffic accident in your country. In this accident, many precious lives have been lost, properties destroyed. Write a letter to the editor of a national newspaper on the causes and effects of these accidents and suggest remedies. Look at the question itself. It has 3 parts: the causes, the effects, and then the remedies. So anybody that wants to score distinction must pay attention to all the 3 parts of the question. And let us look at how this candidate has attempted it. Look at the address, Ajegbe High School, got the avenue, GPO Box 859, Ibadan. And you will recollect that we still say that punctuation marks are very, very important. For example, we have a comma here. After the 859, there is no comma, which is mandatory. Therefore, the examiner will ring it in this form. Just ring it in this form.
then Ibadan, full stop, and then the date, it is all right, 24th May 2018. Then the address of the editor, Daily Echo. Remember that Daily Echo is put in inverted commas, begin and close, because the title of a paper. That's how it should be. And when you are writing, you have to write the title, put in inverted commas, open and close, and have number 859 Joy Way, Kaduna. That's in order. Now you have dear sir, then you have the title. You know, this is a letter to an editor. Title: Causes and Effects of Road Traffic Accident in Nigeria and Suggested Remedies. Now he starts: please permit me a space in your widely read newspaper to express my views on the causes and effects of road traffic accidents in this country. I also want to suggest some remedies so as to eliminate road traffic accidents. That's the first paragraph. Many people have written articles on the alarming rate of road traffic accidents in this country. I also wish to contribute my own quota. Recent in our country, there have been very many cases of road traffic accidents. A day hardly passes without an incident of road accident. These accidents have claimed many precious lives. In addition, properties worth millions of naira have been destroyed. And see that is an introduction which has been well done. In the first paragraph, we have only 2 sentences, which is not adequate enough. But in this one, we have more than 4 sentences, which we discussed in the introduction. And the next one, undoubtedly, accidents are caused by man. They don't just happen. They are caused by man's act of carelessness. He wanted to write or negligence, but carelessly he wrote of negligence. Therefore, this is ringed. That's why I said you must read over your work every time you actually write your essay, because the candidate that's writing this form will not only write off instead of on or. And we go on to the next one. The causes of road traffic accidents are many. I shall discuss a few of them. One of the causes of road traffic accidents in this country is speeding. Remember, this is speeding. Usually we have people say overspeeding. It is not right. There's no word like overspeeding. The proper word is speeding. I'm going to check in your dictionary. Speeding. Many drivers, like many Nigerians, are too much in a hurry. Many drivers want to make a journey which ought to have taken 2 hours in about 30 minutes. As a result, they speed. And when any mechanical fault occurs, they will lose control of the vehicles. The consequence is ghastly or fatal accidents. Remember, it is fatal. Fatal means deadly. We usually, as again, misuse that word fatal. Anything that happens does not involve loss of life. It's not fatal. In the case of commercial vehicle drivers, it's even worse. They always want to make as many trips as possible so as to make money. Again, this paragraph, there's not 1 sentence, not 2 sentences, not 3 sentences, which we discussed the other time. Another cause of road traffic accidents is the drivers. Many of them take alcohol, smoke Indian hemp, or take hard drugs before they start driving. As a result of this, they become intoxicated. They are therefore unaware of what they are doing on the highways. In most cases, there should be a comma after most cases. Therefore, the examiner will do this, a mark of omission, occurrence, and then we ring it. They collide with oncoming vehicles. Their vehicles skid off the roads. They lose total control of the vehicles. Of course, the result is ghastly accidents. Again, another paragraph there. In addition, look at how you have said the addition. That's a linking word. Most of the drivers are illiterates. Many of them cannot read the road signs. Where they are supposed to slow down, they speed. Where they are supposed to exercise caution, comma. Therefore, it puts a mark of omission there again and rings it. They will drive recklessly. They therefore do not take cognizance of any road signs. The result is that they get involved in serious road traffic accidents. Still related to the drivers now. Furthermore, look at that blinking word. Furthermore, lack of proper maintenance of vehicles, another cause. Many vehicle owners often neglect their vehicles. They complain that there is no money. With the hard economic situation prevailing in the country, they want to economize to their own detriment. As a result, There have been many accidents because of brake failure, lack of side mirrors, rear lights, trafficators, to mention but a few. Remember that it should be rear light, not rear lights. So you have, I'm sorry, it should be rear lights, but there should be a comma after rear lights. Therefore, you have the ring there, and then after trafficators also there should be a comma. That's why the ring. The law enforcement agents are not helping matters. They often arrest drivers for one offense or the other. However, once their palms are greased, they let the offenders go free. If the vehicle involved lacks brakes and is again allowed to operate, how would an accident not occur? This country has used that rhetorical question well. How would an accident not occur? That's a rhetorical question. Remember? Then you have the above are just a few of the causes of road traffic accidents. The accidents have resulted in claiming many precious lives, the lives of many ministers, high-ranking government officials, business tycoons, religious leaders, talk less of the thousands of the less privileged. Now, talk less is not appropriate here. That's why it is underlined. It's an expression error. These accidents are people who could have contributed meaningfully to the economic, social, and religious life of the country. Now, this is part of the effects now. Again, apart from this loss of lives, many people have also been maimed. Some of them have been permanently disabled. In addition, properties worth millions of naira have been lost as a result of these accidents. Needless to say, untold hardships and suffering have been brought to thousands of homes and millions of Nigerians. What then can we do? Now, he wanted to write, what then can we do? But he wrote, what then can we do? Therefore, he was careless, and we are going to ring it here. What then can we do to reduce drastically the rate of accident in our country? First and foremost, now he's not talking about the remedies. Remember, the question is in three parts. First and foremost, attention will be concentrated on the drivers. They should be properly educated on the dangers of taking alcohol and hard drugs before driving. Tests should be carried out on drivers to ensure that they do not take alcohol before driving. Also, driving license should not be issued to illiterate people. Speed detectors should be used by law enforcement agents to check excessive speeding. Any errant driver arrested for one offense or the other should be severely dealt with. Also, again, linking the thing, there should be special squad to arrest law enforcement agents caught receiving bribes from drivers. Efforts should be made to ensure that all our roads are in good condition. It is hoped that if all these measures are taken, road traffic accidents will be drastically reduced, if not totally eradicated. Thank you. You know, it's an official letter. Therefore, yours faithfully. Remember, this F of faithfully is always small letter, and then after the faithfully is comma there, then the signature because he's writing to an editor, and then the name below the signature. That's how the question should be attempted, but I have been careless in some regard. Let's now look at the content. The content here, we have said, has to be relevant, and if you look at the whole essay, the content is relevant. It has been asked to discuss the causes, the effects, and then remedies of road traffic accidents. And he has done that in the whole essay. He has provided solutions to what can be done to eradicate or reduce totally the rate of road traffic accidents in this country. Therefore, for this type of essay, for example, we will award for content. Well, the length is more than 450 words if you calculate it. So he has started the examiners. Remember, content is 450 words. So he has, the length is 450 words. So he has started the examiners in that area. In terms of content, this content is relevant, quite to the point, and therefore he has also done well there. And if the examiner practice assessing this one, he will award not less than 7 of content. That is a very good mark. Then in terms of organization, remember, organization also carries 10 marks. He has tried in this area, the formal features. These are referred to as formal features. These address here, the opening, the subscription, the the heading, all those are there, and then he has also done it in paragraphs. The paragraphs are well spelled out, even though some of the paragraphs are not good enough. Like the first one has only 2 sentences. The last one here also has just 1 sentence. Therefore, also we qualify for 7 on 10, which is another good one. In terms of expression, it's not too bad. You can also award him something like 14, 15 upon 20, which is for expression. Expression 14, 15 upon 20. Now, in terms of mechanical accuracy, let us try and count the number of rings that we have here. This is 1. This is another 2. This is another 3. This is another 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 there. And if it has 7 rings, it means we have, for MA, it means we have 7.5 on 10, which means it is possible. If it has no, sorry, it will have 6.5. Since it has 7, it means it has lost 3.5. My mathematics is getting very weak there. So it will score 6.5 on 10, which means it's possible for you to have 6.5 on 10. In fact, we rarely have candidates having 6.5 on 10 in real exams. So those are very, very good. And I want to encourage you to ensure that you read over your work and then you're able to have marks on that mechanical accuracy. I want to consider another essay, here to what we have discussed, the length of the essay, the content, is a pillar, organization, we have the expression, and then the mechanical accuracy. Another one here. Let's look at the question. You have been invited to take part in an inter-school debate. The topic of which is, it's preferable to have a female president to a male one in this country. Write your speech for or against the motion. Remember, this is the topic on debate, and you can take any stand that you want, before the motion or against the motion. This candidate has chosen to write in this form, and of course, he wrote many years ago when Professor Tolapin was still the head of Director General of NAFTA, when is also was also in service, so he wrote a long time ago. Let's look at what he has written. Mr. Chairman, panel of judges, timekeeper, my colleagues on the opposite side, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, students, good day. Now that's because of the debate. This is how you're supposed to write. These are called the vocatives, which we must actually put in writing. Because even though it's a debate, it's supposed to be a debate on paper. What actually you do in real life is now translated onto paper. Now, I'm here this afternoon to support the motion which states it is preferable to have a female president to a male president in this country. Now, he has stated in clear terms what he wants to do. He's supporting the motion. So he has stated it in clear terms. It's observed that since this country came to be, men have always administered it. Men have always been at the helm of affairs. Women have been relegated to the background. And because it's, of course, gathering his points now to convince the judges. After her independence, men took complete control. Men have always been the presidents of heads of state in this country. With all the resources at the disposal of this country, one expects the country to have achieved a very high level of development in all spheres. On the contrary, the level of development is low, and standard of living is nothing to write home about. He's still trying to develop his points now to think the point in favor of women. What has been discovered is that succeeding male president or heads of state have been interested in amassing wealth for themselves and their families. Imagine a male head of state who stashed away a huge chunk of the nation's resources in foreign banks. Remember, I told you that he wrote this He wrote this essay long ago when the head of state actually started money for the country in foreign bank. Here in the country, people have been wallowing in abject poverty. Look at how he has been choosing his words. Wallowing in abject poverty. Majority of the people cannot afford a meal a day. Pathetic to say. A woman as president of Nigeria does not stash away the country's hard-earned money in foreign banks. Rather, she will use the money to improve the lot of masses, the lot of the masses. Therefore, we shall put a mark of information here, and then you will ring it to the masses. In our country today, thousands and thousands of youth roam the streets. The streets. That's why you have the playing there in search of jobs. A female president will not be happy to see youth roaming the streets. Remember, she's a mother herself. Look at how this candidate has been presenting his argument. She will establish industries, factories, etc. This etc should not be written in any essay. So we ring it. You can have to mention but a few. She will establish industries, factories that will generate employment opportunities for these youths. In addition, she knows the subtle ways of attracting many foreign investors who will establish industries and factories, which again will provide jobs for the army of unemployed people. A female president appreciates the importance of food better than a male president, since she is responsible for providing food for the home. Look at the point that he is actually putting forth. In this regard, she will attach more importance to agriculture. Our country is blessed with very fertile arable land, which, if well cultivated, can feed the West African sub-region. Succeeding governments in this country have been paying lip service to agriculture. As a result, the majority of the people are starving in the midst of plenty. A female president will harness all the resources together to ensure that food is made available to everybody's table, rich or poor, young or old. If you look at these paragraphs too, they are not just one sentence paragraph, they are not two sentences. You know what we did about we discussed in relation to paragraphing. I must not write a one sentence paragraph, two sentences. If you look at this paragraph, they are always in more than four sentences. Let's go on. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Now it's now involving the audience again. Ladies and gentlemen, all of us are aware of the havoc which the twin evil of bribery and corruption has done to our economy. It is because the male presidents have not dealt with it decisively. Women bosses are usually noted for being very strict and firm. They will not compromise their positions for. He wanted to write pecuniary gains, but he missed the spelling. That's why you have the ring there. A female president will therefore wipe out bribery and corruption in the society. Let us look at just two examples because of time. Men had been director of the National Agency for Food and Drugs Administration and Control, NAFDAC, before Professor Mrs. Dora Akunyili was made his director. Before this woman became a NAFDAC director, Nigeria was a dumping ground for all sorts of fake and adulterated drugs and fake foods. People died in thousands as a result of fake drugs and foods. Look at what has happened now. Society has almost been rid of fake drugs and foods, even to the popular acclaim of the international community. Look at how he has written that. I told that he was writing before the demise of Professor Mrs. Dora Akunyili long ago. Again, Professor Mrs. Dora Akunyili will just not compromise in spite of the many threats to and attempts at her life. All Nigerians are proud of her. Another woman is Dr. Mrs. Obi Ezekwesili, Madam Due Process. That's what she's properly referred to. Again, I told you before that this essay was written long ago. As far as she was concerned, every contract, everything had to go through the due process. She will not tolerate any bribery and corruption. Her uncompromising stance has saved the government millions, indeed billions of naira. Again, it should be billions, not billion. That's why I have the ring here. Many other female bosses in various walks of life have been performing their duties creditably. You just go and check in workplaces where women are bosses and you will see the wonders they are performing. In the area of health, in the area of healthcare delivery, a female president will perform much better than a male president. A woman, as we all know, has much make of human kindness and sympathy in her. A female president will not allow our hospitals and health centers to lack the necessary equipment and drugs for the treatment of various ailments and diseases. Look at how he's actually marshalling his points. I don't know whether you are impressed as he marshals his point too. She will also see to it that doctors, nurses, and other paramedical staff are adequately. So he wrote adequate because it was careless, read over, adequately remunerated so that they can be committed to their jobs. They will therefore not go on strikes for poor remuneration as we have been witnessing. Ladies and gentlemen, we can cite a few examples of other countries where their system has worked or have been working well to the enjoyment of the masses. Late Indira Gandhi of India, Mananaki of Ceylon, recently Mrs. Johnson Sirleaf of Sierra Leone. Mr. Chairman, panel of judges, my distinguished audience, males have been presidents or heads of government in this country, and you can see how terrible things are. Again, that should be a full stop here. It's not a full stop. And then after the full stop, there should be a capital letter starting the majority. Therefore, we are going to do again a word ring. Majority of the people do not have access to potable water. Remember, this is not portable, it is potable water. Potable, not the portable is one that you can carry about, but this one is potable. It's commonly mispronounced. Potable water. Most of our highways are dead traps. Electricity is epileptic. Healthcare delivery is convulsive. Food supply is paralytic, and you can see depression written on the face of majority of the people. I'm sure there will be a turnaround for the better if a female is given a chance to be president of this country. Thank you. Remember, it's a debate. If you look at the line of argument, you see that he has actually marshaled his point very well, so that nobody is left in doubt about the stance as he's taken. That female actually have to assume the authority in the country. And again, look at in terms of the length, it is much more than 450 words. If you count it, much more than that. Then we have the content. Again, we ask ourselves, is it relevant? What is discussing relevant? Of course it is. You have followed the line of argument. He has been supporting the fact that female should actually assume the position of president in this country. Therefore, for the content, he has done it very well. 10, you are going to award him probably 7. He has done it very well indeed, or 7.5. John has marshaled his point very well. Quite clearly that even the opponents may not be able to actually puncture all these arguments. In terms of organization, he has also arranged his points very well. The paragraphing has been well done. If you look at the first paragraph, it's not a one sentence paragraph. Second one, not one sentence. Third one, not one sentence, not two sentences, not three sentences. Fourth one, not one sentence, not three sentences. The fifth one, not one sentence, not two sentences, not three sentences. Now you have another one here. None of them is a one sentence or two sentence paragraph. You can see that he has actually done quite well. This is the shortest one, which is 2 sentences actually. 2 sentences for this one. That's the only one where he has only 2 sentences in a paragraph. The other ones are more than 4 sentences. Therefore, he has done again very well there. We can award him again. Obviously, on that 7.5 was very good. In terms of expression, he has conveyed his ideas in unmistakable terms, using some very good expressions. Talked about the fact that some people are wallowing in abject poverty. Remember, people are amassing wealth, and this paragraph here, second paragraph here says people are wallowing in abject poverty. Then we talk about people stashing away, which means he knows what he's saying. Stashing away the country's hard-earned money in foreign banks. All those are expressions that can be considered when we are looking at this script. I've made another one which he has used to buttress, to support the point of view that is making. And the points are there. They are convincing points. It's not just frivolous points. That's what part of what examiners will consider. That this is just any point. These are points that have been backed up with examples, with instances. Therefore, we would actually score high marks. Even this type of expression will score nothing less than 15 from 20, because I've done it very well. And then we have mechanical accuracy. Which is again 10 marks. Let's look at how he has done it. Well, let's look at the rings now. First paragraph, second paragraph will have one ring, another one, two. Then we have 3 here, and have 4 here. Then we have anyone in this paragraph? No. In this paragraph we have 5 now, right? Then let's go on. Then we have 6 here. In this paragraph we have another one, 7. In this paragraph we have 8 and 9. So we have 9 rings. That 9 rings means minus 4.5. The other one has lost 4.5. From 10, we have 5.5. And if you add this together, 7.5 plus 7.5 is 15, plus 15, 30, and then plus 5, 35.5. That's a very good essay. Very good. Which actually will earn distinction if you do those well in the other sections. So make sure that you write good essays. We have actually tried to look at what are the demands, what are the things that the examiners are looking out for when they are assessing the scripts. Remember the length, very, very important. You have to write up to 450 words minimum as specified in the syllabus or in the question paper. Remember we said that you can write more than 450 words, as we have seen in these examples, more than 400, but the writing sense, not nonsense. You are not just writing sense to say, I want to fill paper, I want more paper, when I'm telling you you are writing sense. It's writing sense here. And so we are written up to 450 words, more than other matters. That is the examiners in this. In terms of content, we did say that we have to make sure that we look at the question very well to write something that is relevant. The examiner is after relevance, which is the noun, and we want to see whether what we are writing is relevant. In this case, what he has written here is relevant to the topic that has been given, the topic of the debate, and therefore he will score high. In terms of the points that he has given, it's not just giving 2 points and repeating. He's giving so many points to support his own point of view. He's taking a stand. And let me ask again, warn you, if you are writing on a debate, probably as involving argument, you have to declare your stand. Some candidates will just choose a debating topic and then they won't declare their stand, whether they are for or against. You must avoid that type of situation. So you clearly state your stand. And for this one, right from the beginning, this candidate has changed the stand. It is preferable. It says, I'm here to support the motion. I declare the stand. Therefore, there's no mistake about it. Then he has run through the whole essay to state all the points that can actually convince the examiner to award him actually high marks. That's about the content. And the organization he has done it very well, paragraph by paragraph. Is here with the usual vocatives. We call it vocative. Mr. Chairman, panel of judges, timekeeper, colleagues on the opposite side, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, students today. That is the normal vocatives, which actually are expected in this type of essay. The essay on debate. Then he has gone on to good paragraphing. Look at it. Look at one point in the paragraph, one point in every until he gets to the end. The paragraphing is well done, and we have a high mark here. That's why he has the mark high mark there. And in terms of expression, the expression is not clumsy. It's not long, winding, muddled up sentence. When he has a long sentence, it is clear now. When he has a short one, it is to the point. For example, in this paragraph, say pathetic, will say he has actually completed this argument to say yes, this is pathetic, and that is effective. And then he goes on to discuss a few other things. Look at everything there, and he says his points in clear terms. That one expression is very good. upon 15, upon 20. Without the mechanic, I told you before, no matter how good you are, you have to make sure that you read over your work. If I write also, even though I've been collected the exam for I've been teaching an exam for more than 49 years or so forth. If I write, I'm not to make errors, make mistakes. But if I endeavor to read over my work, then I'll be able to correct the mistakes. Probably he did not read over some of these things. That's why he made some errors, like this one. And I'm sure that somebody who's writing in this manner will not omit the masses. Other than that, she will use the money to do a lot of the masses. Again, look at this one. In our country today, thousands and thousands are used to roam the streets, not streets, because not only one street, the streets in search of jobs. And then you should be aware of the fact that ETC is not used in an essay of this nature. Again, if you look at the thing there, yes, he wanted to write peculiarly, but he wrote pecuniary, which is actually not the right thing. If he endeavored to read over, he would have actually corrected this error, so I will score even higher than what he has scored there. And apart from that, in terms of mechanical accuracy, it should be uncompromising stance has saved the government millions, indeed, not the billion, the billions. He don't take the pain to read over his work. That's why I have again there. Again here, because it's not read over, he says she will also see to it that doctors, nurses, and other paramedical staff are adequately remunerated. I'm sure that anybody is writing this form will not actually write adequate here because it was careless too. And then the last paragraph you have males administration of heads of, because in this country you can see how terrible things are. Should be full stop. It didn't read over. And then the next word should be done with a capital letter. That's why it has got the rings. There are two rings in that spot, right? So make sure that you read over your work, so that you put everything in place so that you can score, and you can write an essay that will score high, because we are aiming at distinction, not just narrow escape. But let my people go great, which is C6, because many people who are competing with you. Therefore, you must not aim at C6, but aim at what distinction. Will help you. So take note of all these things that we discussed. We shall meet again in another lesson in this series. Don't forget that this series has been brought to you by the University Press PLC, publishers of very many reputable books, and of course the book I've been referring to, which is the new Oxford Secondary English course for senior secondary schools and even for junior secondary schools. I've been referring to this book, and therefore please remember and check it again and read all the necessary things that you need to know about nutritional. God bless you.